Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Bros Think Big podcast. This is the show where we talk about the simple and yet complicated ideas of self-improvement. Tune in and join us as we become the best versions of ourselves, just so that you guys can too. And remember to like and subscribe for more. Today we have a special one that we have been planning out for the past 2 hours. And this is something that occurs in every single journey. When you hop on some sort of self-improvement journey where you want to just level up as a whole, you're forced to combat doom scrolling. Who wants to break down what doom scrolling really is?
Not just doom scrolling. Let's talk about distractions in general, right?
It's
a lot of
that's a better way to
distractions.
put it.
What's the main one that a lot of people they deal with? Even I deal with this. A lot of us deal with this even now. It is doom scrolling. It's that damn phone. Mom was right. It really is that damn phone, right?
And I feel like it's very important people to know that we still do that. And I feel like no matter how far you're in self-improvement, it's that type of thing, social media, that you will scroll one way or another. Maybe not as long as other people, but you will still doom scroll.
Yeah.
And we are all kind of at the age where we kind of knew what it was like before a phone, right? Because when I first had a phone, I was in fifth grade, I think. And before that, I knew I was playing outside, you know what I mean? I was doing a bunch of things that I wasn't trying to escape
Physical
into a phone.
activities.
I was doing physical activities. I was outside playing in the woods and the grass and stuff. Do you guys remember before you had a phone?
Oh yeah, it was very different.
That's Sasha's childhood. We don't remember 90% of shit.
No, we don't. But I can tell you that we got a flip phone as the first phone, and so we didn't have a
You
legit
lost it.
phone. Yeah, I did lose it in a sewer or something. I don't.
But you would never lose your phone nowadays, right? Because it's so valuable. We're all walking around with computers in our hands nowadays.
I've lost my phone before.
You what?
I've lost my phone before.
Dude, he lost his laptop. He placed it on
Yeah,
top
well,
of his
I
car
did,
and
I
drove
did.
away with it.
Okay,
Let's
let's
Oh
not
yeah,
start
remember that.
getting-
Don't.
Let's not
Yeah,
get-
don't even start. Oh, that's
Listen,
funny. That's funny.
But yes, I did lose my Mac.
He wanted to bring up, I lost my flip phone, eye for an eye.
Fair game. Okay, fair game.
So I know it is a big problem, especially when we go to the gym. How many people do we see on our phones and stuff like that?
So many. Like after a set, it's just so automatic.
The first period in school, everyone's on their phone listening to music. Everyone's just their heads down, necks 90 degrees, looking down. I mean, it's weird. Everyone's on their phone. Why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why is everyone on their phone nowadays? And that's exactly why we made this video. We want to talk about this podcast, the reasons why people are doom scrolling, how to combat that in today's society.
Yeah. Very well said. So, for starters, let's talk about what
number one,
the number one.
you're bored.
Strictly.
That's the reality of it.
Mhm.
So, should we even define why are we bored? Yeah. I mean,
Well,
do you wanna
Yeah,
go
well,
straight
you
to
have
the-
you have nothing to do.
Well, the
you
first
don't
reason,
have a
right?
strong.
People doom scroll because one of the reasons is because they're bored. They don't really have anything else to do with themselves. You mean after school, after their job, after their normal thing that they do every day. They don't know what to do. They eat and they scroll. They shit and they scroll. They do their homework, scroll a little bit, homework again. It's just a constant cycle. Scrolling's in everyone's daily life, right? Why? Because
It's a pattern.
it's so easy to get bored, right? And we have that easy accessibility to social media. It's in our pockets all day long. And so it's so easy to scroll, so easy to take out our phone and just, lock in on some random shit, some brain rot on our phone, right?
And so many different type of content too, so you never get bored being in there.
Exactly.
These algorithms are literally meant to go off of your liking personally. So, it's fucking crazy.
And it's crazy too because I think everyone kind of knows okay, I really shouldn't be scrolling and I know what I have to at the end of the day, people really do scroll because they're just procrastinating or they're trying to they're just really they don't have anything else to do, right?
It's that, but also just a mixture of that's just because what they're so accustomed to, it's what they like it. Like people that eat candy, they know it's shit for them, but they love it so much. Kind of the same thing with scrolling. Nowadays, that's probably one of what people, from more their perspective, that's how they get entertained the most effectively, just through scrolling, because there's so many different things that can fit to their likings. Same thing with candy in a way.
And I want to emphasize just how big of an issue this is. I don't know if one of you guys sent me or I just found it myself, but it was a TED Talk, and he basically broke it down in terms of how many years we spend in your life typically sleeping. The average person living to 80. It's how many years you spend in school, how many years you spend in work, how many years you spend sleeping, and I can't give you an exact number. I don't recall.
Dude, I think
but
sleeping
know-
is half of your
well,
life already.
No, it's
A
8
third.
hours.
It
One-third.
would be a
One
third.
third?
Yeah,
One-third.
third.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I don't remember a number, but I believe it was around 20% of your life. If for the average American, or the average person who's on TikTok.
Well, it'd be one third of your life. So what? It's like 33% of your life.
20%, 1/5 of your life. You're on social media.
Oh, okay, social media.
And when
Yeah.
you think about it
And
like
that's
that,
20%
it's
of your
scary.
day, which is what the average person then would be 20% of 24 would be 5 hours basically, almost 5 hours a day on social media. Crazy to think about, man.
It's
Crazy to
like
think
right now, the
about.
viewer,
This is-
whoever's like watching it right now, pull up your phone right now and look at your screen time. Like, what's your screen time like?
Literally, it's scary.
Right? I remember like in high school, especially after high school, my screen time was like 8, 9, 10 hours. I mean, I've got down like really low
Dude,
now,
same.
but it used to be so high, and it used to be just TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, just all the social media apps, messages, all that.
It's fucking depressing. I use like
And you don't
every week.
You don't acknowledge it until you check your screen time too, which is
Mhm.
the craziest part.
Every week I used to get like these everyone I'm sure gets
screen
it
time
is the
notification,
yeah, and I'd see I'm like, oh, I'm down 13% from last week, and my weekly hours is like 9. I'm at like I average 9 and I'm still down 13%. Dude, that shit just fucking hurts to look at. But then you literally just you brush it off immediately. You're like, oh, you know, I should definitely do something about this. Let me go on with my day.
I'll
So-
try to
so-
improve it tomorrow, but
yeah,
Yeah.
like
either same thing happens or even worse.
exactly.
Exactly. So the way to really combat the boredom, because what really comes with boredom, it's comfortable with having nothing to do. Because eventually, like, when we're bored, we'll eventually do something. We'll probably do the easiest thing to do after that, which is probably school or eating, stuffing our face. It's something that is just so easy to do. Open up your computer, just start randomly, open up YouTube or whatever. Those are things that we do when we're bored. But instead, what I want you guys to do instead, right, is to find things to do other than that. Like what? What are some examples?
Dude, reading,
I-
meditating, working out. There's just so many things you can do that's better than doom scrolling. So, just those little things that you can do, that will be an alternative to doom scrolling and just spending time in social media. Better than that, at least.
For me, I found going on a walk helps a lot
That too.
in terms of kind of just analyzing my life. I guess in a way, kind of being introspective and questioning. I just find that when you are on a walk, you literally can't do anything else. You know, especially just getting out of the house, I'll say, is probably the best example because you lack the ability of going to your bed and going to the typical habits that lead to doom scroll. I find myself, you don't really doom scroll outside your house or outside of places you're commonly in. If you're like a new surrounding, I find it much harder to do because it's a change of environment.
Yeah,
basically.
that's true. But
That's so
before
true.
we really get into that, I want to zoom out for a little bit, and I want to just beg the question that we've been asking ourselves for the last 2 hours. And what do you need? You're bored, right? So you're looking for something to do. And when I think of the best way to tackle I'm looking for something to do, is you try to look for what's fulfilling towards you, and that just ultimately leads to one answer, and that being purpose, right? You need to find your purpose because when you find your purpose, or how you like to call it, mission, which I think is a great way to put it, you are on
The hero's journey.
The hero's journey, always a video game reference. Anyways, when you
Quest to slay the dragon,
Yes,
save the princess.
yes, call it that.
Princess Peach.
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Mario. Anyways, right? You
I'm
look for
Luigi.
that, like that is just your calling. That is what you feel like you're meant for, and it's just what motivates you. It's what drives you because that is what gives you like fulfillment. Realistically, it's your purpose. It's what you think you're put on this earth to do, and everybody has a purpose too.
Everybody.
They just take a lot of time learning it, or they have a really hard time discovering it. Sorry, that's a better way. And they're literally through the exact same things we've been mentioning, just all the distractions, doom scrolling, whatever, right? They kind of try to steer away from finding what their purpose is.
There's so much time between those big tasks like school or work or the weekend. People, all they look forward to is like the weekend or the party or that big event that's coming up. But what's in between that is what people really have to take care of. And that's, you need a mission to go on when you're not doing your schoolwork, when you're not at work. What do? You just like, lay at home for the next day to repeat? No, you should be working on something else after that to improve or do something. That's something I had to really sit down and think about, because what I would do is just look forward to either the weekend or the next event or the work the next day or school. But what was in between that when I would come home? Or I would come home after that task, after that big party, that big event. I'd come home to emptiness because, okay, what's next? I don't know what to do next. So I look forward to the next thing, like school, whatever, all those like menial things. But I had to find something within, a purpose, right? What am I meant here to do, right? And that's the hardest part. It's so uncomfortable to look at that monster, that that purpose monster, because you have to look at it and like kind of face it, because it's very traumatic. It's very like it's just very ugly. It's kind of ugly in the beginning, right? To like find your purpose, right? When we think of purpose, what do you guys think of?
Because it's also purpose can also be a very hard thing, because it's your ultimate goal. It's something that you need to really, really improve towards to become that purpose, that person of that purpose. So when I look at purpose, I think of something that you're called to do, something that you're able to do that maybe other person isn't as much, or you want to be the best person at that specific thing you want to do, and knowing that you can contribute to yourself, your family, and other people around you with that action of yours. So that's how I look at purpose.
Yeah, that's what I like to refer to it as well. Your calling, essentially.
You know, I like to think because you guys know Robert Greene. He wrote like Laws of Human Nature, Laws of Power.
I have no idea what he looks like though.
I was listening to a podcast with him and Andrew Huberman talking about purpose, and he mentioned that like when we are first born, right? That's the first time in the whole entire world, the whole entire universe, that our unique self is born with our certain genetic code, because everyone's genetic codes, everyone's different, right? That's the first time in the whole entire world. So it's like something new and fresh. So when you're born as a kid, you start growing up in your adolescent years, you start acting in accordance to your true self already, right? We start liking the things that we like, competitiveness for soccer. We all like doing our own things. I liked exploring. I liked looking at new things. I was really compassionate, things like that. So when you really want to find purpose, look more towards how you used to act before the indoctrination, before social media, before all this stuff, because you were already acting in accordance to yourself when you were born, right?
Dude, I never thought of it that way.
That is a
Dude,
great
you just
thing,
fucking cooked right there. I'll give you that one. I've actually never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
'Cause
I'll
that
send you
is-
guys the podcast,
I saw,
though. It's really
no,
interesting.
because it's actually in Robert Greene's Laws of Human Nature. He kept highlighting like your younger self is who you really are, and then you basically adapt to whatever you're taught, whatever, and like you try to conform. You realize you get kind of conditioned in a way. You do something bad, and you see that your mom is giving you an attitude, so you kind of resemble that
conform.
action is a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
so easy to
that's-
conform to.
That's how we
what everyone
know
else
what he
does.
said. Now it's ringing. It's all coming back. The dark side of you came out when you were a little kid, like your dark side that you're not supposed to show to the public, but that is within you. That is who you are. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's just your dark side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So I suggest anyone to kind of look back at their childhood, look back and reflect, because some of that's buried though, because
Yeah,
it's
fuck
buried
yeah.
under the trauma. Sometimes it's buried under
Fuck,
things that we
dude.
just forget, that we don't even want to remember. So it's really ugly. That part of our past is kind of ugly. And you know how people say it's like, oh, it's like when you're young, it's okay to not know what you want to do. It's actually the opposite. As you grow older, it's harder to find your purpose as you grow older than when you are younger.
Why do you think that?
Because, like I said before, when you're younger, you already start acting accordance to your true self. Like Josh just mentioned, like you were already acting right to your true self as when
You were doing what you wanted to do.
you were already doing what you wanted to do before you conformed, before you like all this stuff got
Before you were
buried on top,
brainwashed.
before all this stuff got buried on top of you. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Stimulation,
Society standards,
school,
blah, 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 blah,
like
blah.
conforming to your friend group, to society's norms, etc. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
He's trying to say like it's harder to remember stuff because well you're 10 years older. That means you have to remember 10 years more
Yeah.
things.
But I feel like there are some ways where people find their purpose better when they grow older than when they're younger. So it's like, it's not just that example. Maybe for the most part, it's just that's
saying
how it
people
works.
can't find
That's
it.
average. No, that's not what I said either. But
No, he's got a
It-
point too.
sometimes there are scenarios where
of finding that
yeah,
purpose. It
like,
doesn't
people have a hard time.
because
Yeah.
your purpose is your
Because
personal
it can
calling.
also be
so.
just more experience helps with your purpose. for
That's
sure.
my.
So
That was gonna
that's
be
why
my
being
point
older
exactly.
as
Like
well.
as a child, you know less, which is what helps you, which is what can help
Sure.
you find that purpose. But in the same way, I can come at that saying that you know more when you're
you're older,
older,
yeah.
so that you know more of what you like and maybe more.
Well,
I
don't you
can-
think
I can-
knowing more kind of like adds to the being like the bury the mountain? You know what I mean? Knowing more is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. Like exploring, expanding, like what you are like doing, but knowing everything and wanting to know like a lot of things that just buries on top of your interests, right?
Yeah.
Because you already act in accordance to your true interests. But then society puts a picture of Arnold, right? Arnold on the TV or whatever. Now you want to be like Arnold. Now you want this girl. Now you want this. Now you want the money. Now you want the cars. Now you want all these things that you never wanted in the first place, right? Now you have to pay the bills. Now you want this house. Now you want all these things, like all these desires, like are just buried on top of
But there can
or your
also
true
be more
desire.
options.
Yeah, that's like
You know what I mean? That can also be a distraction, and like I would say,
a
like
double-edged
how you
sword.
said it.
Yin and
Yeah,
yang,
it's a
my
double,
brother.
it's a double
Yin
edged
and
sword.
yang.
Because just like how you said, it can be buried with all that information. It can also be an expansion of the options that you
It
have.
could be planted.
Yeah.
Expand in a way that's true to yourself.
Yes, and understand why you liked this at this specific time, why you like that more, and then that's why sitting down with yourself is very important, because no matter how old you are, you can go deep down into your head and your subconscious and say, who am I really, and what can I do that will get me closer to my purpose, and what is my purpose?
And I want to highlight for all just how valuable it was. I mean, again, our purpose is constantly, I believe, changing, or not always, but you know, it's going to change over time, or at least it varies.
Evolve, better
Evolve,
word?
yeah, maybe that's the way. Evolve.
Yeah,
good way to
because
put it.
it's
Yeah.
a nurture versus nature
Exactly.
thing.
So I can just speak from fucking experience. Like the second you learn that shit, like that doom scrolling, you just fucking Again, you're not gonna ever get it to zero.
Doom scrolling gets
right?
put under it.
Dude, yeah,
under you.
honestly, bro. Honestly. Like,
Because when you have something like
you can't
that to
even
chase-
speak on it. It's just so. It happens.
It's the
so
fire.
powerful. Yeah. It's
That's so
fire.
facts, dude.
Purpose
I
of
feel
life,
that
right?
like with no fucking other. Like when I think
Honestly,
of the
dude.
markets, dude, I don't even care to doom scroll because like why
Exactly,
I
it's
like I
not-
look
it's not even
forward to Mondays now
acknowledged.
because how like the market to me is just a huge fucking puzzle. And I value that, like figuring out that puzzle over any other like doom scrolling or anything.
You fell
like
in love
that.
with it.
Exactly.
value
Like
that
I
over
feel
me?
yes, fuck you. No, I could never. You know, you get what I'm fucking saying, Josh. But that's my point, though. Like, because I'm not to say that trading is my purpose, but it's such a strong interest, and I'm nearly passionate for it, and I feel like it is up there when it comes to my purpose. Just because I
It
hate,
aligns with it.
yeah, essentially. I also just want to figure it out. Like I hate fucking losing, so it like me being able to put pieces to that puzzle. It's kind of like what I'm starting to see can be part of my purpose. I think do you guys actually think you could have multiple purposes?
I was just gonna say
Yeah.
that because now that you said you really like trading, but that's not your purpose. You said it's
Mhm.
part of the purpose. Then I was just gonna ask, do you
Yeah.
think there's multiple purposes?
That's my
Yeah.
question for you.
When I like looked into purpose and like done like research about it, it's not just one thing. It cannot be just one sentence, one vague sentence.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
spider web.
it's this, it's a bunch of things pulled together to
Because
make this
everyone
big
has
column,
so
this
many
big purpose.
different
web.
interests.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
It's
a
a spider web.
spider
In
web,
the
yeah.
middle, right, is your true purpose, but it scatters everywhere else.
Exactly.
And I guess that's like one of that's one of my purposes, as at least how I feel right now. Like what you were saying, it
It's
could
part
evolve,
of your
it could change.
purpose, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. It's just a little string,
Crazy, dude.
and it's fucking like when you have that, you don't even care
Oh,
because
yeah.
what I'm gonna find on Instagram doesn't help me achieve anything that doesn't fall in line with that purpose at all. And like we mentioned, your purpose comes first when it comes to this type of stuff.
Exactly, and this is exactly why we put this in the beginning of the video, because this is really just the number one thing that you need to stop doom scrolling, is to put it below you and look towards something beyond that. Purpose, your mission, your hero's journey, right? Slaying the dragon. What is your
Like,
dragon? Pick your dragon that
was
you want to
it-
slay.
was it,
Pick the princess that you want to save.
Rango. A man can't. I saw this like video.
lizard?
A man, yeah.
I was
He
gonna
said-
say,
what did he say?
isn't that-
A man can't. A man can't walk out on his own story. Yeah. A man can't walk out on his own story.
That's true.
Destiny.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
Because you got to live that story, right?
I never even
That's
watched
like the idea.
Rango, but I heard that. I was like, oh, that's fucking beautiful.
I've watched it before.
I haven't.
At Papa's.
That's
So-
the idea, right? Like you have
Yeah.
to stay in your story and finish the story,
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
You don't get the easy
All
way
right,
out.
let's fucking transition. Number 2, boys. Number 2.
But yo, before we do, I just have a
I'm
quick
sorry,
question
never mind.
because you said like understanding your purpose and looking at the purpose can be hard and like almost ugly and dark. And you also
Okay.
said the same thing. You said it's that dark side of
Fuck
yours.
yeah.
So what do you guys
Oh,
mean by
no,
that?
oh,
So,
oh,
like
no, I'm
Sasha
saying-
said, it's pulling a bunch of things together to
fucking
make
true.
this one big clump called purpose, right? It's scattering. So some of your dark side, some of your past, some of your traumas, all these different things, like your interests, where you like this and that, why you like that. It's deeply rooted to yourself. It's a bunch of things together to make this big. Because if I asked you, like, okay, what is your purpose, right? It would be like, you would kind of be like, oh, like, it'd be hard to explain in words, right? Because you feel it, right? It's something like it's burned. It's like itched into you.
I'll explain my side, which is when I had to look how I found my purpose is I took out the AirPods. I told you this. I took out the AirPods at the gym and I was just thinking, questioning everything. And what I found is like a lot of the actions that I do every day come from my childhood. And what that happens is when you think of your childhood, what do you think of your childhood traumas? That's what leads you to do certain actions. So that's what I was talking about. Like the dark part is, it was my mental health deteriorated for some time. Like just looking back at my trauma, it's like it's hard. It hurts. It hurts. And that's not to say I even have that bad trauma. So for me to say that, I can't imagine someone with much worse trauma than me. It's gonna kill 'em.
But it's almost like
But
that
it's worth
has to
it.
happen.
It has to happen in order,
In order
to figure it out.
yeah.
Exactly.
What do you think?
Like about that part?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah.
think we said like meant by that?
Well, it makes sense. Like especially how how you both explain it in terms of looking back at the traumas, the bad things. It's like you can use that as an advantage to be able to provide value to other people that will help them to not have to go through it one more time or go through that same experience because
Yeah.
you already know what it's like and you can teach other people how to avoid that specific problem. So you having to think about that and confront that problem of yours and have to work on it in order to be able to then help other people itself is a hard thing.
Beautiful.
That's also exactly why I think like when people get asked at such a young age, what do you want to be when you're older? A lot of people don't figure it out. until they-
Astronaut.
Like, it could be anything, but a lot of people, they don't figure it out because they're not willing to tackle that dark side of their brain, like what happened through childhood. Because a lot of it is just self-reflection. What happened when I was younger and what's happening with me right now? What do I find interesting or whatever?
Just something that like, I always think about is like be the hero for like your younger self when he was going through those dark times and stuff like that, because those dark times really do define the character who you or really want to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
That's a good
All
one.
right, now we
Beautiful.
can transition.
Yes, sir. Number 2.
Escaping or coping/coping. Sorry.
Another reason why we doom scroll is because we escape into our phones. It's so easy, and we do it as cope. It's self-sabotage. It's maladjustment. So, I mean, what does that really mean? Why are we coping? Like, why do we use our phone to cope in the first place? Because, I mean, when we're in our phones, right, when we're scrolling, it's so easy to turn our brains off and just go into it and forget about the pain that we're feeling.
I want you to
Right.
share what you kind of really helped me paint the picture when you would talk about with your mom.
No.
So yeah, you want to say that? No.
What I want to say with the whole coping thing is that it's you're coping because one, we already mentioned this, you're bored, you're lacking the purpose. So when you lack purpose, you don't know what to do. Again, you're bored. I'm repeating myself here, but what I'm trying to get at is the fact that you go to the most accessible option through that cope, because that's what coping essentially is. You try to convince yourself that what I'm doing isn't really that bad or whatever. I can use TikTok or Instagram Reels as an educational source. What you start making a
Self-sabotage.
whole bunch of self-sabotage. These excuses that don't even relate to that don't even make sense. Sorry, that's
Yeah.
a better way for me to put it.
When I see coping, I see more of like emotions, a play of your emotions when you are in a down mood, or maybe not even in a down mood, but life just hits a fan, so it's way more susceptible to pursue an action like that. It's like a trigger point. You do one bad habit, and then what's going to happen? You're going to do another bad habit. Kind of like correlates together.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I kind of see coping.
You're literally escaping because you don't know what to do with your time, and time being like arguably the most valuable thing that we have on this planet. What you do with it. What?
It is the most valuable.
Yeah, and I like, especially more importantly, what you do with that time. That's why it's so important. And people choose to escape because they don't know what to do with that time. They come home from what you said earlier, school, their 9-to-5 job, whatever it may be, and they're automatically like they're functioning. They're conditioned to just relax. I worked so hard for this in school. I paid attention to all these classes and everything like that. I can just cope a little bit and let myself
Relax.
relax.
And it's also like perfectly transitions from like you're bored, because when you're bored, you feel a negative emotion from like uncomfortable of being bored. You're faced with this like emptiness because you don't have a purpose, right? And so what you do is you cope by going into social media, by escaping in these things that are easy to escape into. And what I was saying to you, Josh, was like when you have like a negative experience, when you feel this negative energy, right? Because like I told you, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred, right? energy is always being transferred. It's always being moved. It's like this like invisible. It's in this like invisible
It's
dimension.
a force.
It's a force, right? And so what you need to do instead, just be aware of that negative energy and transfer it into something else. Like what? Like lifting. Like going outside and walking. Like meditating. From just pushing that energy out and just like
It's a healthy habit
using it as
rather than a
fire.
negative habit.
Yeah, using it as fire and the fuel. Use that negative energy and throw it in the furnace. You know what I mean?
Because you're not realistically getting rid of the problem itself. Because I remember I used to have this thing where, if I felt awkward in a situation or anything, like it would be a habit of just take the phone out, look like at the time. But it was just, I didn't want to look at the time to know what time it was. It was just a habit to escape the fact that I felt awkward and what's next. So you just do that. There's been situations where you just randomly go on the phone because you don't know what else to do. And it's just, what happens is your brain says it's okay at the moment because you coped. But the second time that same thing happens, like an awkward situation or some kind of problem arises, you don't know how to react to it. So you keep going in this loop of coping and you never solve the problem because you never confront the problem. So I think the solution is to confront the problem as soon as possible because it's only going to grow bigger and stronger to the point where it's going to be harder to handle. So the sooner the better.
Like our brain will send us signals when there is a problem, and those sirens will go off, like anxiety and depression. Those you will feel those when the sirens going off, that your brain is telling you, yo, we need to fix this, right? But when you ignore that, when you ignore the signs, it just gets louder and louder and louder, and all of a sudden you're put on medication. Yeah, all of a sudden you need a therapist, right? Because you haven't faced that monster, you haven't faced the dragon, right?
Yeah.
It's
How
crazy
can we
that
minimize coping.
well, like
Don't
Sadula
cope.
just said,
No.
face that thing, face the monster, face the dragon, and slay it.
Yeah.
Right.
Kill that bitch.
Self-reflect through journaling, probably the most effective way. Like with what Sadula was saying, how I used to do the same shit, and people make jokes about that too. Like, you ever seen those videos where I'm walking past a group of girls, so I go on the weather app to check. Like, you guys know what I'm talking?
Yeah.
Like, that's a real thing. And I think I used to do this shit too, actually. Maybe not the weather, but you get the point, right?
Like if you were to
Yeah.
see somebody that you might wanna, you might feel awkward. See,
Yeah, you feel
or
awkward,
you don't
you
know what
feel
to do.
scared,
You
yeah.
just take out the phone and act like they're not there, but in reality you're doing such a bad thing. Like
that's what I'm saying.
realistically,
Yeah,
dude.
people don't
You're
realize
avoiding a person to.
it is such a bad, because it's so fucking deeply rooted. Like, you need to be questioning, why am I feeling awkward in this scenario? Like, you feel scared. The same thing that we were mentioning with purpose, how people aren't willing to tackle that question with trauma and what, like, all the bad things that occurred. And that it applies for here too. You're not willing to not be able to just face the problem. It's all deeply rooted through the purpose, which is fucking crazy to me. Which is why you need to tackle it, because what happens with trees, the roots just continue. The tree just gets bigger and bigger and bigger once the roots already planted inside of it, or the stump. So
Exactly. And it's like we need to cope in the right way instead of self-sabotaging ourselves. So what are some ways that you guys cope in a right way, like your peace task or something? Josh, I know you have yours.
So I kind of fucked
Yeah,
up. I said the walking on the wrong section.
Mm.
I feel
But that's-
so guilty for saying that, but yeah, this is when I was gonna
Plus,
say.
they're
like,
also
the
interconnected,
walks.
so you can use
They
that
are.
in
Yeah,
They
many
technically
ways.
are, but this is more of a fact of just kind of. I've actually this past week, maybe a week and a half now, just seeing the sunset. I used to be a guy. I don't know if you recall. I would call sunsets gay, right? But now it's kind of just this beautiful.
that shit
thing
was
of
always
just,
outrageous to me.
Yeah. What? Yeah, it's just the world's beauty.
You must be
'Cause
feminine.
it helps me kind of step out of my own skin and realize the world itself, that's where
Nature is a gift.
where I live exactly.
So beautiful.
It came before me, not thousands. I'm sorry, billions of years before me. So it's a kind of crazy concept to me. It's kind of just appreciating, and that's helped me kind of just take away that coping mechanism.
It's coping in the right way.
Exactly. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're
'Cause
not
everyone copes.
minimizing
Everyone
your coping.
copes, but
exactly.
Depends how you cope.
I'm transferring my coping into.
Yeah.
But would you say coping, the definition of coping, can be positive?
Yeah.
I understand you mean it like that, but can cope itself, is cope a positive definition? Yeah.
Is it a
What's
positive-
coping? Yeah. What's the definition of coping?
Coping, right, is when you feel something, you do something to combat that emotion. Whether that be, you can meditate as a good thing, you can, read the Bible, pray as a good thing, you can go out, or You can watch porn. You can escape into social media. It's a double-edged sword too, with coping, right? What do you think?
I don't know. I wouldn't call it coping though. I would just call it
What do you
whatever
want?
you're doing. Like just it's like you feel negative emotion, you pray. You feel a negative emotion, you read Bible. I wouldn't call it you're coping.
You cope in the right way.
Coping is kind of just
I
how
just
you
wouldn't
go about
say it, I
things,
guess.
right?
That's
I guess it's because a lot of people, they say it in a negative way.
Yeah,
Oh, you're coping.
yeah, that's
you're
why.
coping,
That's definitely why.
right?
But
we all cope at the end of the day because when we feel
Mhm.
something, we have to cope in order to combat that.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
isn't it like in the most simplest
Praying
form?
is
It's
coping,
just how you go
right?
about
It's
things.
not a bad
right?
thing. Coping is not a bad thing.
Yeah,
it's the way that
it's
you.
not. It's defined as the thoughts and behaviors mobilized to manage internal and external
Yeah,
stressful
how you go about
Yeah.
things. So,
So I think it
how
really
you-
has a negative.
that's exactly
like
what it is.
connotation
Yeah, yeah,
in your
dude.
Oh,
mind.
you're
So-
coping, bro. You're coping, right? I know
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Makes sense.
it's like a double-edged sword, like we were talking about with when I said something about something else, right? But yeah, like praying and like for example, what I like to do is like listen to the birds chirping outside, or
Dude,
soaking
facts.
up nature, or
Facts.
like just literally just praying in general. Like that's something I really do to like kind of just soak up, like and ground myself. You know what I
Dude,
mean?
I had I just acknowledged it this morning. I was like, you just don't realize birds chirp, but they're fucking chirping every fucking time you go outside.
Yeah,
Literally
right.
every
In the
fucking
morning,
time
definitely, dude.
we're outside.
It's
but you
so
never hear
beautiful,
it.
though.
What? Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's mating. I
Natural
think they're mating,
music.
right? They mate to.
Mhm.
They mate. Is it a mating call or is it they just fucking?
Could
Dude,
be.
they're just
Could be.
talking
Yeah,
shit about
yeah,
you.
honestly, fuck. But you know what happens, right? We start coping for so long. Eventually, we get to a point where we become mindless.
Mhm.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we combat this, or why do you think mindless even happens? I know obviously it's
So what? Like the
Stuff.
next reason that people doom scroll is
Exactly.
because of mindlessness or brain fog, as we'd call it, right? So we had a
Brain fog,
conversation
that's
about this like before the podcast about mindlessness. So let's kind of give a good definition
yes,
about
we
it.
Should. That's a good point. Yes.
So one of you guys can
You
say
got
it because you guys were more
Well,
in
I
agreement.
want to
Yeah,
make
but-
sure we get the
When we-
genuine
yeah.
ones, just so we don't actually.
But as long as I remember, it's
What?
just this like a thought process that isn't thought about.
It's unconscious.
Well, you don't think about it. You don't think about what you're doing.
it's
It just happens.
It's a type of meditation in which you focus on being intensely aware of what you're sensing and feeling in the moment without. I'm reading mindfulness, not mindlessness.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah,
It sounded
Well,
like
when we think of the word
mindless.
mindless,
Yeah.
it's less of
so
your
not
mind.
not
It's like-
observing.
I was like, this does not sound right.
Yeah.
The act of doing the things without being aware of what you are doing, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
So some of the things to combat this, number one for brain fog is to change up your diet and change up your lifestyle routine. Are you sleeping? Are you like being hygienic? Are you eating?
Are you
the
drinking
right
enough
foods?
water?
You're drinking enough water. All those things are so important. That's like the basic level, right, of to combat brain fog. But a lot of people don't know about like brain fog, right? Because they're so locked in on like they don't know they could achieve a higher level of clarity if they get rid of these processed sugars, processed foods, even like things like bread. You would never even think about it. Like bread nowadays. A lot of like the commercial bread, right? I'm not talking about like the good
White
breads,
bread
like
and
sourdoughs.
then the ones with
Sourdoughs
leaves.
are really good. But like the white breads, like the sourdoughs, not the sourdoughs, but the commercial ones, like the bagels, like the pastries, all those like fries, like fried foods, all those things fuck up. Like they inflame your brain, they inflame your stomach, and cause brain fog. People don't know that they can achieve a higher level of clarity if they can eat more protein, more fats.
All I'll say is just eat meat and eggs one day, and see, I promise you, no matter how much you eat them,
Well, just
watch,
try
watch what happens.
to be in
What's the difference?
just try to reach ketosis because that's when your body uses fat as the fuel and uses ketones, right? But you don't have to cut up carbs completely. You can use fruits and stuff. But I was just looking into the
Just reduce the carbs and
Glycemic
see how it
index.
works.
the glycemic index. Like I said, like if don't eat things so high in the glycemic index, right? Eat things that are kind of on the low spectrum. That could be fruits, that could be meats, that could be things like high fats, high proteins.
Mhm.
But a lot of people, you know, the misconception about a non-fat diet. Oh, don't eat fat. Like fat makes you fat. That is completely bullshit.
Yeah,
right?
that's
Bullshit.
And I've read it in so many books. It's so cross-referenced.
Really?
This is like this one guy he started this like movement of like saturated fats are bad for you and stuff. Anyways, right? Fats are good for you. The right fats, like what avocado oil,
Yeah,
olive
avocado,
oil, butter,
Tallow.
like eggs, steak,
Nutella?
No, I said tallow.
Oh.
Tallow.
beef
Yeah.
tallow.
Yeah.
So we need,
Nutella,
we need
imagine.
these fats in order to function. But when we get fat, like a lot of people get fats from rapeseed oil, canola oil, soy oil, all these bullshit oils. right?
that are very processed.
Cottonseed
Yeah.
oil, all these bad oil. Those are the ones that will inflame your brain.
That's just
so-
the American diet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's American
So
diet.
get more of the good stuff, right? If you feel brain
Fucking
fog,
live in Europe.
look at your diet. That's one of the first steps to
Next-
beat mindfulness.
Like, here's a fun activity. Like, look through your pantry right now and look at what you're genuinely consuming. Because I want to share that.
I do that as like a hobby to look through pantries.
I know he does. He
And
does.
look at
Yeah,
the ingredients.
we-
This
we
is the
can
first
attest to
place.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, dude, so I had a doom scroll session like a couple days ago
you
or
kidding
something.
me?
Yeah, I know. Shoot me. I like I don't know, like on the toilet or something. Whatever. It just
Dude,
happened.
you and
right?
the toilet are two different creatures.
You would what?
That's where I doom scroll the most. I need to
know,
stop
but
bringing
you're
my
the
phone.
You're in
in
the fucking toilet for 30 minutes.
Dude, it's because I doom scroll.
I've never
yeah.
seen you. No,
I
but
swear,
seriously,
yeah.
I've never seen you go in the toilet and come out in 5 minutes. Never.
I think maybe you know what. Now that you're mentioning this, I'm gonna stop bringing.
Do you
it to
time
the
him?
toilet.
Do you like
Thank
set the timer as soon as he walks in
no,
the door?
just like crazy.
Yo, John,
No,
you
no,
see
he's.
a
I can't,
timer?
I'm not gonna lie.
What?
He's right. He's right. That's literally like, every time I doom scroll, it's on the toilet.
You're coping. You have no purpose.
he's-
You're
it's
you're
what he's-
mindless.
Dude.
You have brain fog.
I get it from Papa. Regardless.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Anyways,
You have no idea.
regardless.
Dude, I even see it in like I hear people playing some stuff in the toilets in the gym. I'm telling you,
really
it happens in public. Yes,
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
experienced
yeah.
it. I'm just gonna be straight up.
I heard somebody talking to somebody while taking a shit. That was really disturbing.
That's more real than scrolling on your phone, right?
No, that
No,
was-
it's not.
That was disturbing.
Well-
Anyways, what were you saying?
Well, yeah, what I was trying to get at is that I stumbled across this video, and it was this person in Europe saying how they ate more food than they ever had, and yet they lost 5 pounds, right? But someone reacted to it saying, "You're in Europe, so you walked a lot, right?" Which is true, and everyone in the comment is backing up that guy, like, "Oh, saying, oh, that girl's a fucking idiot for saying that. It's just the ingredients." You cannot deny the fact that the ingredients that you're consuming are one, putting on excess weight on you, two, making you feel like shit, three, making you look like shit too. Like people, and you know what? That's great. That's coping right there. They're literally not willing to accept the fact that yes, this American diet. This you go to the grocery store, go to Acme. Like I don't like what I was saying earlier. I don't know why the fuck we shop at Acme. Acme is full of
You know what?
dog shit, to
You
be
know what I
honest.
noticed? It's the American stores that sell
Yeah,
those type of
yeah.
stuff the most.
It is.
Yes, it is a big
It is.
store, but it's usually the American stores that sell those types of stuff more. And I see like those people get that type of products the most.
It's literally just the ingredients because even though the framework between McDonald's in Europe and McDonald's in America are the same, they have the same systems. There are ingredients in
product,
Europe
yeah,
that are
they're-
banned, so they're literally better off for you. And dude,
That's
the
why it tastes so
McDonald's-
much better.
It does. It really does. I
I'm
don't
gonna
get
say
it.
here.
But they're
I
not
had
used
a
in America
milkshake.
because business in America, or I guess all around, is just about maximizing profits.
I had a milkshake at McDonald's in Russia, and it was definitely way healthier, but it was not better. I will proudly say it was not better.
Well,
I
you mean
actually
in
just
terms of
wanted
taste?
experience. Yeah, taste.
Well,
Taste. That's
because it's
It's a great
healthier,
thing, that's-
that
yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense.
Well, I thought you meant like taste. No, you meant like just way better. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Well, obviously not with everything.
Well, it's also just your opinion.
Yeah,
so.
I know. I just wanted to make. I also want to mention. I'm sorry, completely cut it out. You were talking about drinking water. Just want to say, I actually tested how much water I drank by buying a gallon. I drank a gallon of water and an extra liter of water on average every day.
That's really good.
It's like I was.
What's
Liters,
average, by the way?
5.
Well, no, I don't know. What average,
Average
is
is probably
definitely like half a gallon, but like what you're
2 liters, I was
recommended
Really?
is a gallon.
Yeah.
Some people don't even drink water, bro. They
What?
drink milk.
Dude, people be
People
drinking
don't
apple
even
juice.
drink
and
How many
water.
water bottles
me
is that for
8.
gallon? 8?
8.
Okay. Wow.
Mhm. So he's saying he drinks 9. I cap by myself out at 8 to be honest. Like I don't. Sometimes I'll go under. I hit like 6, but that just happens. But
Well-
or is that just something you wanted to share?
I just wanted to share.
Mm.
So it's no.
So what you can do to test this theory, right, is okay. Say one day, like you just eat a bunch of oatmeal one day, right? A bunch of oatmeal, eat a bunch of bread,
Yo,
eat a
you've
bunch
been
of
saying that since day
eat a-
one.
eat a
I
bunch of-
wonder if anybody did it.
eat a bunch of carbs like one day, right? And then test your brain. See if you can try to read a book or try to watch this podcast or try to watch another one of our episodes and see if you can actually just think straight. And the next day, next couple of days, just eat maybe meat, just eggs, just high fat, high protein, and see how you feel.
You
Test
know
it
what?
out.
I'm gonna try that. I haven't tried it.
I
I'm
haven't had
gonna
oatmeal
try
in a
it.
while, but I honestly might try that. And you know what? I can speak from. I used to have oatmeal every day for breakfast because I was on like the whole bulk thing. Well, but like I thought it was like a great breakfast, and I would go to school right after. And I noticed that like thinking back to it right now, my first and second period classes I think were my worst grades, just because yeah they were harder subjects. It was like chemistry and everything, but I know
Just
for a
not
fact
on.
it
Your
was
brain
just
was
not
not
on. Yeah.
That's a good observation.
That's a fucking crazy thing to think of.
Very.
And dude, I used to eat oatmeal too. I used to try to bulk and eat like a
Like,
bunch of
did you
oatmeal.
go to school right after?
No, it's like I would try to like watch YouTube while eating oatmeal. I'd just be like, oh, like I'm
That shit,
bloated.
yeah.
I'd be trying to like I pause the YouTube video to kind of like close my eyes a little bit, scroll my phone.
But I heard it's good for weight loss though.
Well, oatmeal.
Oatmeal, yeah.
Weight
Like
loss?
in the morning, yeah.
Really?
But I guess it depends how much.
Yeah,
you're
your
gonna
portion.
eat.
of
Where's
weight
the,
loss.
like,
Like,
oatmeal?
I throw in
Bulking-
fucking 2
bulking-
scoops of peanut butter
bulking-
protein
yeah, exactly.
powder. Like, yeah.
Bulk and oatmeal type of stuff is just like a lot of oatmeal.
Yeah.
But in the morning, if
With
typically
berries,
people
yeah, that's
eat
tr-
like
that's fair.
maybe 2 tablespoons or 3,
Yeah,
like,
and
that
you
can
top
do
it off
no
with
harm in my
berries, yeah,
opinion,
like-
so-
So I learned that you
Organic
should
too oatmeal.
put, I learned that
because-
you should put cacao in your oatmeal. It
Right.
will
I
actually
wonder who
really
said
help
it.
in your
your,
yogurt.
Yeah,
In your
my
yogurt.
oatmeal.
Doesn't
You're
matter.
eating
Yeah,
oatmeal.
not
Yes,
enough.
it
Yogurt,
does
nah,
not
that
matter.
would be.
You're eating
that would
oatmeal.
be
Put it
good.
in your yogurt. Okay, replace your oatmeal with yogurt and you'll be fine. That's really what it comes down
Yeah.
to.
There we go.
And you'll be fine. Anyways, with
We're-
mindlessness
Just went
and brain
on a
fog, right? We were talking about diet. Now it's what? I wrote down habits and building a schedule and building routines that you do this at this time every day so you can kind of... Because when I thought about it, right? When I do my daily routines every single day, there's not much resistance. I don't have to think about, what do I have to do next? Like, I have a bunch of these things. No, I have a set schedule, so I don't waste my time thinking, right? I'm not mindless. I don't waste my time procrastinating. I know what I got to do at this time and at this time. So build a schedule, build a routine. That helps me personally, right? If you're an organized person, I know Josh said, like, he doesn't really need a routine or anything to say, you mean productive and stuff like that. But for me personally, like, building a routine, setting a schedule, do this at the same time every single day has really helped me. So
Yeah,
it causes less
that's smart
resistance.
shit, yeah.
Yeah, same here. I don't really have a strict schedule like that where I have, on this specific time I do this and that, because, a lot of things just change throughout my day. So I don't want to have like a specific schedule where I do this in specific hours. But I do recommend everybody to have some kind of schedule where they know what they're doing in different periods of
Yeah.
day. So like
Like, just
they
planning
work out
your
in the
day out,
morning maybe, or
essentially.
in the afternoon or evening, all that kind of stuff. But another good idea would be getting writing down things you want to do the next day, the night before.
To-do list?
To-do
I
list.
have
Yeah,
it
basically.
daily
too,
quest.
yeah,
So-
when I wake up.
So at night before you go to sleep, you write down some of the things that you want to get done for tomorrow and kind of like make up a schedule that, okay, when I wake up in the morning, this is what I will do, step by step if you have to. And that way you know your purpose the next morning, and it's not like you woke up and you're like, yeah.
Why don't I
I'll
let
go
myself
eat a-
scroll
I'll go
for
eat
a
a bowl
little
of
bit?
oatmeal
Yeah.
right now.
Exactly. So, and make sure it's a little challenging too, especially in the morning, because that's when you can get most of the work done.
Yeah.
And make sure it's the type of thing in the morning where you have a reason to wake up and not fall back asleep.
Mm-hmm.
So-
And I do. It's a great thing.
Right.
You should have a general idea of what you want to get done in your day. Because if you don't, then you're
be
one. You're pretty
drifting
much
through life,
bored.
man.
Like
You're
if
just
you don't
drifting.
have an idea, yeah, you're being a drifter, not a player.
Yeah.
I've seen your videos. And the idea is you're just bored. Like if you can't have anything planned out, where is your purpose? If you have a purpose, you know what your call of action, not your call of action.
Yeah, the
action
call
that
of
you're gonna
action,
take.
the goals,
Yeah, your
yeah.
call of action. Yeah, you're right. So I like that song. And one thing that I want to mention is I'm a little late to this, but with the whole escaping and coping thing, how do you combat that? The examples that you two gave, how you go on walked, and how you
Coping in the right way.
yeah, coping in the right way, exactly. You went on walks. You did. What,
Meditation.
What is
Medi-
that?
yeah,
I said that and
meditation.
listening to the birds outside.
Yeah.
So grounding myself
Ex-
in a
you-
meditation.
being with nature, like reading the Bible, whatever it may be, right? I think it's so important that these are activities that you spend time alone with yourself. That's like the one thing that I want to highlight under all of these things is you're by yourself. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do it with someone else. You absolutely can, and that can absolutely be more effective than doing it by yourself. But you should be able to spend time with yourself
Become
alone. That's
independent.
where
You don't-
self-reflection comes from.
Yeah, you don't need to depend on your phone. You mean be your coping mechanism.
Or anyone else, to be honest. I don't think you should depend on anyone else to tell you what your purpose is or anything. It's strictly
'Cause it's
just
purely
you.
within.
Yeah, it's your heart. Nobody else can tell you what's in your
It's
heart.
in your blood.
Your veins.
Dude, that's why when Steve Harvey said it, you brought it up last time. It's just so hard.
Yeah.
If it wasn't given to you by God, and somebody won't
Yeah.
get it. So if it's within you, you have to find it yourself. Nobody else can
Mhm.
dig in yourself and find your purpose.
God gave you that vision and
Yeah.
not that other person. So why
Exactly.
would you let that affect you? You have to go on it by your own way and what your heart is
Exactly.
telling you.
It's also too like we could even go back to that and be like, okay, like the reason why are people so obsessed with feeling good all the time and so obsessed with I mean, oh, I gotta get away from uncomfortableness. Like, I gotta get away from awkwardness. Like, I gotta get away from all that stuff. It's just it's a bad mindset. You know what I mean to have.
Very.
And you should want to face the dragon, face the pain, because when you want something, when you speak to the universe and say, "Hey, I want this," when you say to God, like, "Hey, I want this," He's gonna put something in front of you to,
Make you
to
stronger.
see if you're worthy enough to get that thing.
Yeah.
He puts a level in front of you that you have to beat, right, to get the XP, to gain the experience, to get to the next level, to get what you want.
I
Exactly.
got a good quote for this. I wrote down.
Let's
Dude,
do it.
that is literally my favorite fucking
to
thing.
get what you want, you have to deserve what you want by Charlie Munger.
By leveling up.
To
in the
get
game
what you
of life.
want, you have to deserve what you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great way to put it.
This shit fucking baffles me.
And
When
I-
you're put in that awkward situation, why would you run away from like? It is a natural thing. You're like feeling anxious is a natural thing. That's just gonna.
It's a fight or flight mode.
It
bro.
is. It is. Why would you not want to like, dude? One of the proudest accomplishments that I have, that I think has improved my like way of living dramatically, is that I turn my anxiousness into excitement. Whatever it is I'm about to tackle. Like I rarely feel nervous anymore. And this isn't saying like this isn't for me to brag or anything like that. Any like time
But
I
it
have
is
to
something
go,
to brag about.
it
Because
is.
you would
Like,
be
I'm
surprised. A lot
so
of
like,
people
dude, like
feel
this
so
just-
anxious about some
That's
problems.
when I cannot get nervous because I turn it right into excitement. When there's a challenge that God has given that's up on this road, or just in general that I have to tackle, I want to. The same way that I feel about this market, like it's a puzzle. I hate losing. I want to figure it out because it's so interesting. Like the idea.
That's
of
when
me,
you learn the most. When you confront
yes,
the problem.
Yes, and
Because
it
if
just
the problem is
feels
unsolved, you
so
don't know
much
it.
better too. I like to think of how I'm gonna feel
After
on
you
the day
accomplish
after. Like I like to feel how I might feel in the future. Like the whole idea of like
Mm-hmm.
your actions today, your future self is gonna thank you for, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I like to do. And if I know that, if I let my inner bitch win,
That
which I
fuck,
said,
you just took my spot, man.
I,
was just gonna
you
say.
started scratching
I
it.
was
I
gonna
knew
say,
it. You
I
should
was
have
literally gonna
moved.
say this, bro.
If I let my
dude.
inner bitch
he
win,
knows
Yeah,
that
I was
too.
like, I was gonna say,
Mine
exactly
now,
this. I had
boy.
a plan.
Mine now,
For all
boy.
my competitive motherfuckers out there, who you can't let your inner bitch win. Come on,
Mhm.
you can't let your
Mine
inner
now.
bitch.
Sorry, Josh.
What?
I took your rights.
Yeah, damn.
Copyrighted.
I heard this thing
Fucker.
recently. It was
You
like
share my blood, you bitch.
I heard this recently. It's from like Luke Belmar. I was watching one of his videos, and this one guy went up to him. He's like, "Oh, like I feel exhausted. Like I brain fog. Like I haven't been that fit." And Luke Belmar was like, "This isn't really the problem. It's an opportunity, right? If you're fat, the opportunity is to get fit, right? If you're broke, the opportunity is to get rich. If you're sad, the opportunity is to level up and get better." See, there's nothing bad in life because positive energy and negative energy, they're both good. It's all just an opportunity just to get better. It's the way that you look at it. When you perceive it as positive and negative, there's always going to be positive and negative. You can't keep running away from positive and negative. When you look at that, that's just life, right? Life is positive and negative. It's yin and yang, right? And so when you look at it like that, everything's just an opportunity. Everything's just a good thing. It's a different mindset to have.
Yeah. When you have a mindset of everything happens for a reason, there's nothing that can like bring you down. Nothing. Because you see that as an opportunity no matter what happens in life. Obviously it's not the easiest thing to I would say manifest into your life, to say when something bad happens to you and you're like, "Oh yeah, this happened for a reason. It's my chance to grow." Because that thing can bring you down really bad. But seeing that as an opportunity, having that mindset to grow and combat it and win over it, that can just be such a powerful tool.
Yeah, like the idea that time heals everything and whatever happens just happens. Like, why are people so afraid to face that awkward scenario or anything like even remotely close to that? Dude, like I go to Wawa and I ask the people for free shit.
Really?
Not
Just to
even
combat-
because I'm broke, just to fucking talk. Like in Florida, I did the same thing too. Where that worked. I got a free cookie. I swear to God, I just got.
Tropical Cafe. Yeah, it's like
I just saw, oh shit, yo, can I get this for free? And he just lets you. I swear to God, like, why are you afraid? Like, because the worst thing that happens is you get turned down, or it's just like whatever happens will happen. That's just the way of life. And what you were just saying with how it's positive and negative. You
You're
can't
a
always
moron,
run away
dude.
from that. I'm a moron. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, he got
all
a
that
cookie.
happened-
Yeah, but they paid that company.
It was worth
Oh,
it.
it was
Money for
processed
that
cookie.
They
I was
sold it for
saving other
$0.
people by me consuming it, Josh, so someone else wouldn't
He
have
cared
to.
about people,
Yeah, you
guys.
see, I had to consume it, so
I hope
someone
you eat all
else
the
wouldn't.
cookies in the world.
But yeah,
You
that
would
is
burn
that
my
is a very
downfall.
good technique. Just meeting new people too would be a very
Tim
good one.
Ferriss did that.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
the idea. Yeah, that's who I got. I got it.
That's what he makes every entrepreneur that he coaches to do. Like
I don't know.
fear
It
of
was- I
judgment.
saw it from a
Fear
podcast.
of
It could have been
judgment.
him. Yeah. It's no fear of rejection.
That's
That's
it.
what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Sorry.
you just ask yourself these questions, but it's also like whenever you're in a scenario where you have the fear of rejection, it's more often than not like an awkward scenario. Like if I'm gonna ask a girl for her number or something, you can already tell that that's just something you're probably gonna feel awkward about. That's where that fear of rejection comes
You
in.
asked a girl for a number recently?
Yeah, bro.
Sash.
She's watching. But that's my you get what I'm trying to say. So it's crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
Yeah. What's a bunch of reason that if you're a guy watching right now, what's a reason that you go on Instagram, right? What's the reason that a lot of guys are on Instagram, they're on TikTok, they're on these apps, right? They're searching for something. What are they looking for? And I don't be guilty of this. I've done this before. You're looking for ass. You're looking for ass.
They're
on
horny.
Instagram. Exactly. You're horny. You're looking for, a girl to look at because it's so easy
Bikinis.
access. Why? Because you can't get a girl in real life, so you get them on the internet.
Is Instagram where to go for that?
But
yeah.
most common.
Well,
for
'cause
sure is
I'm
Instagram.
I'm surprised by this because I recently found out that Instagram has a lot of this models. Obviously, I wouldn't know that now, but
Like
people
OnlyFans
say it, so
models?
I believe it.
Yeah.
Like
And people have
OnlyFans
showed
models?
it to me on their phone.
Yeah.
My feed does not, like I barely come across a girl on my feed.
Well, you
Dude, if
you
you have a
don't
girl
get
on your
those
feed,
bots all over the place on every comment section. That's like link in my bio.
Well, that
It's
I know what you're talking about.
everywhere.
That's just because you like if you're that's like
But
if
that's
you're
not on any other. That's not on.
but that's not
TikTok,
what I'm
bro.
talking. I'm talking about like those are. I mean, if you
Then
see
why
a
do you
comment
think
like
it's on
that and you
Instagram,
hit
though?
link
Why
on
do you think
bio,
it's on Instagram?
well, isn't it be on any social media
But it's
platform?
not.
Like you see that shit on
It's not.
Snapchat.
It's most common on Instagram. There's
Really?
a reason
I think
for
it's
it.
most common on Instagram
There's
too.
a reason for
Really?
it.
It's
TikTok,
literally just
no? I
pages.
would've
There. That's
thought
where
it'd
like
be
that's where
TikTok.
all the OnlyFans models or pages are at. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Their personal brands are on there.
Okay.
That makes
I,
sense.
I do like.
Because the
I have a
only,
girlfriend,
the
I
only
wouldn't know,
platform,
so-
the only platform that I really just scroll, I would say, is Instagram. If I go on TikTok to post or YouTube, just a YouTube. I don't even watch YouTube Shorts, to be honest. Not so much. Mostly, if I watch something, it's on Instagram. But I noticed when I was like learning how to make the dessert and stuff, I would save them. So what I noticed now is when I go on it, all I see is the desserts. So that can be distracting
That's a
little
way to
because
curate.
like they just look so good
That's
you
funny.
want to click on it. So it's like when you save, when you click, when you like, when you comment, it's just so many things happen, and the algorithm kind of drops in your
Yeah, bro.
system and just
Yeah.
goes, okay,
No,
this is what this
I'll
person
tell
is
you
interested in.
I'll tell you. At one time,
And I think it's outside
I think
of
it's like
Instagram
when you
too.
do in the search bar, right? It gives you just options, right? If you're on Instagram.
On
right?
Instagram?
Yeah, just one time I fell subjected to. I never had like bikinis or any shit like that. One time, I fell for the trap, and then next time, literally, there's 4.
Yeah.
Then there's 5.
This is what we
And
were
I
going back
didn't
to
even click
saying
on
like
it. It's just-
earlier
yeah,
with the
yeah. It's
algorithms.
the algorithm
yeah, they
shit.
don't fucking play games.
That's-
That's how they drag you in and everything.
Exactly.
Dude, I
So-
feel like so many things are being tracked. I have a feeling that the little things are tracked. Like when you say you're scrolling down, and if you're scrolling, say you see gym videos and you scroll like very fast, but then you see a
Yeah.
girl and you
Yeah,
stop
that
for
is
a couple
absolutely
seconds,
tracked.
it goes, okay,
1000%.
this person
Not
stopped
even
for that
close.
video. And then if it sees some kind of constant thing, it goes, okay, this is what the person is interested in. Let me just give him that.
I also
It's crazy.
I also think like I don't know, but I feel like these phones listen in on our conversations. Like
I
that
feel
shit
like that
is-
too.
I've had with them.
That's what I said. I think it works outside of Instagram too, on a search bar or
Yeah,
Safari,
it does. It does. Yeah,
Google.
that's why apps ask you like
would you like it to track?
To track? Yeah, yeah. That's
Cookies.
why that shit.
Cookies.
Yeah, through cookies, exactly.
And when it gives you
Well,
a big list to
yeah.
accept, like nobody's gonna go through it to see what they're agreeing on. They
Redeterminate-
just
yeah,
go,
yeah, they give
agree,
you like
and
a
then-
fucking 9,000
then
page document that they want you to
you're
read.
hooked.
Uh-huh.
So you're done. Otherwise, you're not able to use the phone or the app,
Okay.
which is crazy.
So now that we've established that Instagram is like Pornhub 2.0, I guess. Or I
Yeah,
guess just
soft
a shittier-
score points.
Yeah, that you're right. Oh my god, we made an episode on that. How did I forget?
exactly.
So, what's the next step now? Let's say, like my Instagram algorithm isn't for any of that, but let's say yours is. What should be the next step? I would say that like
Oh, yeah,
my
got it.
challenge would be
Easy.
what?
Read the paper.
Well, you can't read 'cause
Here's the reality, right? You're gonna get horny. No matter what you do, as a man, as long as you have testosterone, you're gonna get horny. So you can't
Some
just
people-
avoid the
some
issue,
men don't.
right? You can't avoid the issue. Well, if you're not getting horny, that's even bigger issue. All right, that's for starters.
facts.
But the thing that we set account is just create a new account.
Well,
Have 2 accounts.
you will get horny.
Have two
So
accounts.
the two account, but you create the new account. What
What's-
then? What? You're still gonna be horny, and then you might still succumb to that, right? Instead of looking for it on Instagram, how about you do what Fricker said, and you look for a real, genuine partner, and you discover that side of what love truly is, not lust. How about instead of succumbing to lust, and instead of creating an Instagram account, I impose that you
Doesn't
challenge
happen with
yourself.
this thing, I feel.
No, that's a good idea. Creating that. I mean, that's what I did after all. Just not for
you got a
the
good
reason
point,
you're.
but that's like you can't do that in the moment. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like looking for a partner, it's not just like this. You know,
No,
snap your
of course,
fingers.
dude, that- it
like
takes
you will get
time,
horny
but you
when you
still
don't have a
have to.
partner. That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you gonna do in the situation when you are horny?
Creating a new account's a good idea. Also,
Curating
challenge
your
You're
yourself
saying
account.
it's
next
right.
time.
You're saying
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a-
yeah.
That's
No, no,
the
no.
bigger part solution. But
Uh-huh.
I'm talking about like short-term solution of in that moment.
I would focus on the bigger term solution instead of the short term, because when you focus, like this is exactly what,
about
happened
if
with me and
someone
my
doesn't have a
girlfriend.
girlfriend now? Next
You
time they
look
got
for
horny.
you try to look for the opportunity, not try to force anything. And of course, like the whole idea of the right girl is gonna come to you, like time will come and it's gonna do its part, whatever, right? That's true and all, but you should still at least long for that, because what like the idea is that you're
Definitely
lost.
acknowledge it. Definitely
Yeah.
acknowledge it.
I feel like there's still 2 types of ways you can go about it. You're either looking for a partner for lust, or you're looking for a partner for love. So you can't avoid them two. You have to pick one,
Mm-hmm.
and mostly you lean towards one more than the other. So, I do agree with what you said, that like 100%. But I think it depends what you do on social media. I feel like if you post on social media, or you want to be a content creator, you want to learn from somebody, even then I would just say delete the account and delete Instagram in general.
That's-
don't even
that's
don't even
what I
download it. And if you want to learn about something, go on Safari, read the articles. That would be the best. Read books if you want information so bad. Not from Instagram, not from TikTok. You're not gonna get it. At the end of the day, you won't. And if you do want,
get it,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
also gonna be
exa-
there for 20.
exactly. So you have to identify your personal problem and see if it's worth it. Because if you go in there saying, okay, I'm gonna learn something, or I'm gonna get some value out of it, but every single time you end up doing something completely opposite from what you went there for, that means there's a problem with you not being able to deal with what you're there for. So, watch podcasts, watch stuff on YouTube rather than Instagram and TikTok, all that kind of stuff. Because
Yeah,
I noticed YouTube doesn't really have that type of stuff. It really doesn't.
they don't put it. It's strictly off
So I
the.
feel
That's
like-
why like the whole idea is they track what like YouTube and like
What you watch
Facebook
on-
and Meta, especially like because they're from the same company. But all these platforms, it's the same thing.
I don't
like-
even want to talk about Facebook. It's the worst.
Yeah,
It's.
I can
dude,
imagine.
it's
I'm not
drugs.
familiar with it, but
Facebook's
Really?
drugs. Yeah.
Mhm. But the only thing is though, like with the whole deleting Instagram thing, is I wouldn't like if you're gonna scroll, if you want to like click off this video right now and delete Instagram immediately.
That's
Like
yeah.
that's what I used to do, but in a way that's kind of just cold turkeying it, because I would start. Eventually, that should be the end goal. That's what it is for me. But I would start by creating a new account or challenging yourself when you find like a some sort of OnlyFans model. Challenge yourself is hit the not interested button, or when you go on your explore page and that's the type of posts that you see, click on every single one of them, hit not interested, or scroll away immediately after you see it. Don't even let yourself fall
report it.
for that. Yeah, and then
So your
once you
algorithm
build
knows you
that,
hate that stuff.
set timers too. Like once you build that up, then the end goal is to just delete fucking Instagram.
Yeah.
But I've tried that with TikTok and
What if you were to delete Instagram, and then if you felt like you want to watch some kind of content, go on YouTube, since it's not that bad.
That would be
I
the
don't
better
know.
option. Like I deleted TikTok. That's what I did with TikTok. I deleted TikTok, and I thought that it would be gone. But then I immediately went to Instagram Reels like a week after. So the problem was really it was the whole idea of culture. And I mean TikTok's gone. It's not on my phone. You could say it works, but every now and then, like I told you guys, I still doom scroll on Instagram Reels.
Yeah.
Deleting
happens,
both
but-
would probably be the most sufficient option. It's just gonna be a lot harder for you, because then what happens if you go into YouTube Shorts? And I can't delete YouTube. That's where I get a lot of my education from.
Yeah, same here.
Well, I can obviously, but it's like you have to tackle it slowly first, because with the whole idea of you can't face it with the cold turkey. But the
And-
end goal is to get rid of the app
Yeah.
as a whole.
And I feel like that's why every single one of this still takes back to finding your purpose and finding your true self.
Oh
You gotta know yourself in order
Oh,
to
yeah.
identify what your next step will be. If you're the type of person that's not being too distracted with these apps, why delete it? If you're the person that's making content on those apps, why delete it? Yes, you do get distracted, but those people that don't post any content or are there and next thing you know, they go on Pornhub and all that
That's
kind of stuff.
like
It's like you have to be able to sit down with yourself and tell yourself, this is what I'm doing and this is who I am, and look at yourself in the mirror and say, well, whether you like it or not, that's who you are. So let's work on changing it.
being honest with yourself.
Being honest
like
with yourself. Oh my God.
every
That
single
image.
thing that we've mentioned is just strictly downstream to understanding what your purpose is and your calling. Like how Fricker said it earlier, that's why we started off with purpose. You're bored, you need to find that first. And that requires a lot of self-reflection. That's why we've been giving a lot of these like tips and hacks towards this type of shit.
I want to share a story. So, one of my recent friends the other day, he was telling me that he has a problem with the whole idea with, going on Instagram and then, looking at girls and all that kind of stuff. And then I go, I bet it's because you follow them. And he goes, yeah. So, and then he showed me who he follows. And it makes sense why he would want to jerk off and stuff. Because, I mean, all they post is literally not showing their face and all you see is their ass. So it's obviously they're going to want to do that. So this is what I told him. I go, unfollow her. What he did was he shut off the phone because it was already hard for him to do it, right? And I was like, do you see what happened right now? You don't want to do it is because part of that is what's driving you to want to do that bad action. So I go, you have two choices to make. You either do that, like unfollow them, and that would mean that you want to change, or you're just complaining about it, but in reality you want to go back to doing bad things. So I told him, you have two options to make. So pick one. If you're going to complain about it and if you're going to tell me that, this is the problem you're going to overcome, then be willing to take some kind of action. And if you're not willing to take an action, that means you don't want it. I mean, that's, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. It's not what you say, it's what you do. You can say, oh yeah, dude, I want to change. I don't want to have to be going and jerking off. But what do you do about it? If there's nothing you do about it, the only answer to that is you want to be doing that. So you got to, it's two extreme situations. You either keep doing the bad things, or another extreme situation is you just unfollow that person and be willing to challenge yourself and say, this feels hard, but I'm going to do it anyways.
Beautifully said.
Did he unfollow?
Yeah, he did right away.
Dude, that fucking baffles me that people like follow models like that. I hope you don't. Don't, do you?
You looking at me?
Yeah, you. I know you two don't.
That's the first. That's the
Check
first
my
thing I did
Instagram?
when I wanted to like go on NoFap.
My,
Just
my
unfollow all
model
those
is
No.
people.
my model is Ronaldo and LeBron James.
Yeah, that's tough.
Unfollow them.
I don't know. I never had a.
I hope I don't see
Yeah,
their
that's-
ass.
I don't want to have to come out as a person that's bragging about this, but I never had a situation where I would say struggled with this type of stuff. I wouldn't follow the models at all.
Yeah, that's just.
I wouldn't.
Like,
I wouldn't.
If
follow
you
the
like,
models.
if
I
that's
always
the hardest
found it
part
weird.
Of cope, yeah, that.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel right.
Dude, after Fricker's example, I can never.
You're
look at
supporting
that,
The
though.
only time was Summer Rae, and then I was like,
Yeah,
dude,
I
this is
can
just
never-
weird. Like,
Right.
I just saw like how
God
I
did a
see
really
it is
good
like
job.
this woman is just posting her body every time. Like what
You're just another dog in the comments like everyone else.
Mhm.
You're
Dude,
just another dog.
Do
like
you
me.
guys
not a
remember?
fucking dog. I'll
Do
make
you
you
guys
one, but
remember
okay.
Fricker's thing?
Bro, I'm not calling you a dog.
Do you
Hungry
remember
hippo.
Fricker's thing? Like that traumatized me.
The Coliseum. Every
Oh, yeah,
every
Imagine the
OnlyFans.
comments.
I'll say it again, right? Every OnlyFans models
Model.
post, right? Look how many comments you see on there. Look how many views her like. Their
How many
reels
likes?
Gets. Look how many likes. All that shit. What that is she's in the middle of a Coliseum and you're just in the fucking. You're just in the Coliseum like seats with all the dogs, right? Looking at her in the middle of the Coliseum. You're just like everyone else, bro. You're getting cucked.
That's
You
why
know,
most of the
dude.
cases their page goes 3.5 million followers following 5 or 1 or 0. That's the type of stuff that you see.
Dude, like if you don't hear that and immediately don't want, to just unfollow. Like I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah,
to tell
well,
you.
you're coping. Yeah, if that's
That,
the case.
it is. That is cope. That is.
And I
That's
think
a
on a
bad
deeper
way to
That's
go.
sense,
bad cope. That's bad. Cope.
and I think on a deeper sense, you're supporting their behavior, which is the
You
worst
are.
thing.
That's even.
So
yeah.
everybody that follows them,
They're
like,
clapping in the
let's think
Coliseum
about it.
seats, bro.
Exactly.
Matter
Think
of
about it
fact,
realistically.
fuck those guys that
Clapping
actually
seats,
do that, dude. Like,
What if those models lost all their followers? Do you think they would have still created the post?
Yeah.
And stuff?
Who would they be at the end of the day?
Realistically, it wouldn't be the case. But the thing
Yeah.
is, it just won't happen. Almost. You know what I mean? That's just how things work. It just won't happen.
if you cut
'Cause
out
there's
the
always
demand,
going to be somebody. So, yes, and then when you do cut out demand,
Supply goes to
Supply
shit
goes to
too.
shit,
Like
exactly.
that shit is just fucking absolutely absurd.
and one of
like,
the most basic psychological rule I would say for psychologists is don't reward bad behavior. That's one of the first things that they've taught when they go in that career is, you know, when you have a client or whatever, somebody you're helping, and you see them do a bad action or you hear them telling you about their bad action, don't reward it or don't say it's okay, because it's not. That gives them another reason to do it. So it's just a very deep thing to acknowledge that every single person that follows them and likes their posts or comments just looks at it,
yeah,
is supporting it. So that's what it comes down to.
honestly. And I had something in the back of the head that you said that was so true that I forgot what it was.
You know what I would do sometimes when I would see those pages? I would go in there and report them. Not that he would do something, but I mean, not that he wouldn't do anything, but he would at least do something, in my opinion.
But no,
you know what I mean?
that idea is maybe not like in the grand scheme of things. Maybe not. But for you, it's doing
me,
a great
a lot,
thing.
yeah.
You're signaling to your brain like, yeah, I don't want to be seeing this shit at all.
Exactly.
And I at least I'm self-aware enough to understand that this is harmful. If I continue to see this shit, this is bad. So I need to get it out of my page.
Exactly.
What I hate the most is that the guys that like the fucking Coliseum enjoyers, is they're the ones that are the most hypocritical, because they're like, you girls can't have 10 bodies, but then they're doing shit like that. Like that.
They're
that
the ones liking the post.
yeah, like
That's
what
fair.
are
Everyone's
the
DMing
difference?
them,
Yeah, like,
wishing
they're-
they commented back.
But like seriously, like that shit is hypocritical. Like,
Very.
if you're watching this video, please just unfollow that shit. Like,
Yeah, one of the best ways you could get over that is really unfollow them and see how your feed changes, and if you still can't change that perspective on what happens, just delete the app.
dude,
Really.
I never even thought of it this way, but like how, you know how everyone says like, show me your 5 closest friends, is that, and I'll show you that's who, or show me your network and I'll show you that's who you are. Show me the people you're following and I'll show you what
Yeah,
you're
that's
into.
who you want to be influenced by. Yeah, that's what it comes
literally,
down to.
Literally.
Oh yeah, that's
That's
very
what you're
well said. Good
putting in
thought.
front of your face. So like how Josh mentioned, how no one that he's around like really parties. He eliminates the idea
Goats.
that what?
Goats.
Oh yeah.
Follow the goats.
Mm-hmm.
That
Exactly.
would be great.
You see?
Like Whiplash.
Now I lost my train of thought. But I hope you guys know the direction I was.
Yeah, Josh just messed you up. Well,
Anyways.
that was it.
No, we got one more.
Last
Well,
one.
I'll
more
speak
five.
on behalf of
Yeah.
this. What I write, rationalizing bad routine. Now, this is what I personally struggle with, and this is for I don't know who else this is. I think this is a common thing, and actually Lance Bachman has the same thing. I remember he said that, and I remember obviously because I have the same thing. But he justifies that it's okay. I'm gonna be here and say justify. It's not okay for my guys that wake up and they just go on their phone. I think that's a very common thing. Very common thing nowadays. They just go on their phone and they spend whatever, 10, 20, 30, maybe even an hour. I know people that spend 2 hours. I forget who told me. They send the first Tim.
Yeah.
What did he say? 4, right?
Yeah.
He
He just sits in bed all
4
day.
hours, right?
Like,
That's
for most
fucking
first part of
crazy.
the day.
But this is reality. This is the truth. So
I used to do that
thought
too,
it
bro.
right.
Just sit in bed and
Yeah.
like
And I was
go on your phone.
I was trying to
Probably the
analyze.
shittiest feeling ever that I experienced.
Like
Honestly,
you're like
I
a
don't
little
mind
hot
it.
and sweaty like after a couple hours and shit.
Can I be honest with you guys for a second?
You don't mind it.
Yesterday.
You're coping.
That's it.
No.
Yesterday, I went to bed.
Get off the
Loretta and
podcast.
I- Dude, no, listen. I went to bed at like 3 because I was trying to figure out this market maker model.
Keep coping.
And I woke up around like 9 o'clock. I didn't get out of bed till 11 because I was scrolling. And I
What were you watching?
Instagram.
Just
man.
straight
And,
up?
dude, I don't know. I haven't had something that bad in so long. I was so fucking like I looked back at it and I was like by now, like on a typical Saturday, I would have already had my breakfast. I would have already had my walk. I would have already done my workout and everything, and I would have been at the library studying. But because of that, everything gets pushed back. It was honestly
I noticed that type of stuff a lot too.
Feeling,
When
dude.
you
Like,
do that type of thing, you realize how many things you could have got done and how many things you didn't get
you
done.
feel like because you you feel unproductive because you are unproductive. Like
Yeah.
it was honestly one of the worst feelings I've had in a while. I don't know. It's just one of those things that happened, and I was so ashamed of myself. I was like, yeah, like this is fucking terrible. It was Mishka. Mishka snapped me out because he started barking outside of my door, and he forced me to get up.
Bro told you to find your purpose by
He's
barking at
he's
you.
like, bro, like Broasting Big does not approve of this, and he was right. Like,
Dude, think about all the times that you like people don't even think that it's bad. people will do that and not feel guilty at all, and that's the problem.
thing, Yep.
Think
Thinking
about
it's
all
not
the
a
times
bad
that
thing.
you scroll and eat.
I could not imagine that.
You watch YouTube, you watch anything while you eat. You know what I mean? It's like not even the fact that it's like, okay, if you're watching something educational, fair enough, right? But it's like the fact that you always need something in front of you to keep you occupied all the time is the problem. You know what I mean?
Like, even admitting that shit out loud in front of you guys hurts. Like, I'm fucking embarrassed.
Dude, we have
But-
days like
no,
that.
yeah, we do. And
You
I'm
have
not.
such
I'm not
good
gonna-
self-awareness,
You're
though. That's a good
fucking
thing.
bum.
Yeah, bristling made me right now. But like that's the thing,
His
though.
last
I
day, his
cannot
last
imagine.
podcast.
It's the way you. My inner bitch did win. It's literally like there's no other way. Seriously. I can't defend myself. I really can't. And it's like I cannot
fuck out there.
imagine not feeling guilt after that. I couldn't
That's
because
a good thing that you feel that though.
No, yeah, absolutely. But I like how you said that people do that. Like I couldn't, because you know what's crazy? I know why I did it. I used to do that shit on the weekends, like during high school, in like ninth grade. I would play Fortnite all night, and then I would fucking go to bed. I'd wake up and I'm scrolling on TikTok for an hour, on like the Saturdays and
Brains
Sundays.
fried after those.
It was so, and you know what? Back then, I didn't think much of it. Now that you're thinking, I don't
You
know.
didn't take
I
it so bad.
Yeah, like the guilt that I feel like that I felt yesterday and even today, honestly, because it's still haunting me, is like a million times more severe than it used to be.
It's like putting a fire under your ass too. It's like
That's true. That's true.
Think
I
about it.
rocks.
For
No,
the
that's
person
true.
for the person watching this, if you do the same thing, imagine how much stuff that we get done before you wake up and after you're done scrolling. Imagine
Literally.
how much
Literally.
people are getting done before you like get up and get out of your bed, like
Mhm.
like 7 hours later after waking up. I don't know if you know if people do that. I don't know, but
Dude, you never know.
that's lighting a fire under your ass. Like,
That
there's someone who
literally
woke up 6 hours before you and has done your whole week's worth of work in 6 hours before you woke up. Like, there's people who are like that out there. You know what I mean? It's like that's a fire.
yeah,
under
And
your
those are the
ass.
winners. That's the level of hustle.
Oh,
Everyone
the
wants
hungry
to-
hippos.
Exactly. Yeah.
The hungry hippos, man.
Yesterday I lost. I lost to the person that
You learned.
was.
But I was just gonna say,
learned,
but you
yeah.
learned a
I
lot.
did.
What was the
I did
opportunity?
learn. The opportunity.
You couldn't
The
live
opportunity
with your own
cost, or
failure.
what do you mean?
The opportunity.
You couldn't live with your own failure. Now
Well, I
where
wanna
does
hear
that
it.
take
That
you?
wasn't there wasn't a problem. The opportunity was putting your phone down and realizing, okay, I don't need to scroll. I have this to do. I have this to do. I have this to do. The opportunity was what?
Like, what did you mean? The opportunity in the moment?
Yeah, the opportunity after going through all that, the new opportunity is okay. Not doing it again. Waking up early, doing
Exactly what I learned in this video. We didn't mention it in this video, but I'll mention it right now since that's the answer. Is I'm leaving my phone to charge up there.
fucking
You don't have to react.
Right.
like that.
Bro, you can add to it, man.
Yeah,
you can
you
add
can.
to it, bro.
Mine, mine, bitch.
No, I came in. I said I'm gonna talk about this topic,
No,
and you just
no,
took over.
Go on to the
and
next
stole my
one. Don't let him do
fucking
it, guys. On to the next one. Don't let him talk about it.
You got beat twice.
fucking
You
kicked
lost.
You're
Sucks,
so
sucks,
fucking kicked
sucks.
out.
Sucks. Well, I was. Oh my God,
This is the
guys!
last
Yeah,
podcast. What do you wanna say?
I'm leaving. I left. I'm leaving. I'm charging the phone over there. You did mention this.
What? No, I
Oh,
was
oh,
gonna
you were
say-
getting to it.
Yeah.
Who gave you that idea?
Get add to it.
Yeah.
Who gave you that
Credit
idea?
to him. Credit to him. Credit to him.
Yo, now go
Give me this
crazy.
idea.
He just stole your
He
idea.
stole
my. React like this while you're at it too.
Yeah, jump up and down and make a scene.
All right, Josh. I would love to
No,
hear
for
your
the
feedback,
first time.
please.
He said it. Spot on. He
No,
stole
you
my
can
idea.
add to it if you're so
I
passionate.
lost.
How about this, Josh? When did you come to
When
that
did I win?
realization? That's
Too
what
many
you need to
defeats
do.
in one day.
I lost.
What'd you think about that? What'd you?
Lost.
I never explained why it's so important.
What?
I didn't explain why it's so, or I didn't explain why I'm doing it. So I'll let you have the
I
honor.
Dude,
lost.
put your
Just
phone,
kidding, why
charge
I'm
your
doing
phone
it.
over here next time. Put it
Yeah,
on
yeah,
this
that's
desk.
because there
so you
is
get
an
to get
outlet
up.
there. That's what I'm doing.
Solution
I'm
is
doing it
if
right
you
there.
have your fucking phone and you screw all every morning, put your fucking phone.
Is that what you do?
10 meters. Yes, that's what I do.
Essentially,
You feel
the
ashamed
idea
of that?
is-
What?
You feel ashamed of that?
I feel so
I,
guilty.
I feel like I killed all of your passion in it because you don't even want to. What I thought you was
I
gonna
got
say is
nothing
that
to say,
you
bro.
scroll because you're already laying down in bed and you feel so comfortable. You feel so relaxed,
Dude,
right?
I'm
But
just
forcing yourself to
fucking
get
dead.
up because you hear that annoying ass sound. Like I don't know about you guys, but I hate the
Oh,
way
yeah.
my alarm sounds. Right? Actually, that's not true. My alarm is
Peaceful one.
my alarm is we're gonna have a good day, and all that guys are gonna. I'm gonna play it for you guys.
Yo,
later.
how do you even do that? I know.
you have to pay like $3. I did this like a while ago. I think I can play it right now. I'm gonna play.
Oh, dude,
this.
that's some positive vibes.
I'm gonna play it into the mic.
I have one that's like David Goggins saying something.
Yeah?
No, it's
Oh.
not Goggins. No, it's like you're gonna fucking wake up. No, I don't know.
Are you guys ready?
I don't know.
Let's begin now.
Oh my God! Yeah, I remember. That
Ooh.
is his. I
That is
remember
kind of
I woke up
No,
today
I'll tell you what.
and I said, instead of waiting for a good day
Sasha,
to
I
happen,
remember when you would do the alarm when we slept in the same room, and I was like, God,
have a good day. And all my homies gonna lie today.
Oh, dude, that's gonna start your morning really, really positive.
Not
Hey,
waiting for
Friday
every day.
day.
Not
Hey,
waiting
on
every
a good
Really?
day.
Definitely.
I don't know.
Like, I might not even turn that shit off, to be honest. Like,
So make sure it's not too good, right?
that's what in the
What?
what?
Mine?
Let me hear it. Turn. You're right.
This is mine.
That's peaceful.
Yeah, it is peaceful.
Yeah.
But
Supposed
it's so
to wake you
annoying.
up.
It's so annoying.
Here's the thing, though. Like,
As soon as I hear that,
I'm listening.
as soon as I hear that, I'm up.
Dude,
I'm up.
that's the
I
thing.
don't want any more,
Like,
bro.
Even
I'm
yours
up.
being peaceful, mine being like positive as fuck. Like,
It's not annoying
I
because
hate.
of the sound. It's
Yeah,
annoying 'cause
it's
you
because
gotta
I
wake
fucking
up.
hate. Like, I turn it off immediately.
You gotta
But
wake
yeah,
up.
like
It's annoying because there's other people in my house. I don't want them to hear the sound.
that. Yeah, that's true.
Or
Like,
wake up the
sometimes
dogs.
when I feel asleep on the couch, that the alarm goes off because I just have it set to it, and I feel so bad because I feel one time I woke up like my parents because of it.
Better than dude. The iPhone one is so.
That one's the worst. Don't even play that.
No,
not
I'm
even-
going to play it.
I hate you.
Oh yeah, I think I have that one.
That's yours.
And
Props
sometimes,
to you, dude.
dude,
That is
sometimes
some real
I'm
fucking
such a
mental
deep
strength.
sleeper sometimes that I don't even hear
I
anything.
could never.
And when my sister leaves for work, sometimes she has to come in and say it's ringing.
Yeah.
And can you imagine, dude?
That's
was
mine.
that one?
That's
But-
mine.
It's not that loud.
Yeah, I think it's something like that for me. Yeah.
If that is that the default one? Is it would say like yeah, radar's default.
So one of the things that I also do is the night before I write down the time I want to wake up. So I go 8 a.m. or sometimes 7 a.m. And knowing the fact that if I don't wake up at that alarm and get up, I'm gonna have to X that specific goal. That means I failed the goal.
That's
so
facts,
that's the
yeah.
drive that instead of Xing it, I'm gonna check that off. And the only way to do it is to really wake up and
that's a
conquer the
great
day.
fucking idea. That because you don't want to start
Yeah.
your day off by like doing using a negative.
Same with
emotion.
the habit trackers and shit that I use.
Exactly.
That's also
Like,
good.
the shame of marking it red is so I get so much pain from it that I changed that.
Do you have that on like 6 a.m.? Get up at 6 a.m. or something?
It's right now. Yeah, it's between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. Between that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, you see, like that's a great idea. To be
Right.
honest.
So if you wake up at 5, are you Xing it?
No,
But you didn't get in up between 6 and
but
7.
I got up earlier. So pretty much anytime
Well,
after 7.
But you're
would be
lying. You're lying to the habit tracker.
Yeah,
Am
I did
wrong?
lie.
You are. You are.
Fine.
The only time I
still
don't, the only
You get
time I
something
don't
on it,
mark
yeah.
it,
Fucking
I won.
Dude, that's not.
the
a
only
red.
time I don't
win.
mark it X personally, I'll be honest, is if I set the alarm on at 8 and I wake up at 8:05.
Yeah.
But if it's anything past 8:05, then I mark it X. And what I usually do is if I mark it X, I write down the time that I woke up, so that way I know how late I was to my appointment to when I was supposed to wake up. So I don't know, but yeah, it is more strict your way. Like if it's even late by a minute, you failed. So I see where you're going.
Dude,
with
bro,
this.
It just
you literally
depends
sit
on
in
how
your
much
bed
margin
for
of
20
error you
minutes,
want to
don't
give yourself.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw my phone at the wall next time.
No, just put it across the room.
I know.
Next time you reach for it, just shoot your fucking hands off. Like,
Oh my bad.
Sash, just fucking jump on me in the morning.
why would I? Just place it in front of the bed so you can get up. Yeah, because
I'm kidding, I'm
I
kidding.
don't know.
Anyways,
That's
Yeah,
I hope
yeah.
all this helped you guys. I mean,
Yeah.
combat doom scrolling. After this, look at
We
really look
fucking
at.
talked about timers, bro.
but it's fine. Yeah, dude. Accessibility is everything with this.
No.
Stop doom scrolling and get out there and find
Your
your
little
purpose,
habits,
find your
Josh.
mission, go on your hero's journey because everyone has a journey, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has a mission.
Facts.
Your
to go
purpose
on.
is greater
Exactly.
than you think.
That's why the mission is.
I'm a fucking
It's
hero,
time to
man.
get to the quote of the day.
Quote it there.
Josh.
Sometimes when you're in a dark place, you think you've been buried, but actually, you've been planted. Oh.
Oh.
By somebody. We don't know this. It's just I just found this video on TikTok. I sent it in the group chat. So
That's why it's an opportunity.
And I like there's
Being
some,
buried is an
there's-
opportunity.
because when you're in a dark place, when your roots are in a dark place, you think you're being buried, but when your roots are also in the dark, deep down, that's also darkness. So it can either be a strength that you're in a dark place, or it can be like your mindset that something's not going your way, or
Like Mike said, an opportunity.
yeah,
Opportunity.
or but I'm talking about the part where it says you've been buried. When people think that it's a negative connotation, that
Yeah,
you know,
that low.
that life's bad or anything like that. So
Like if there's one thing that I wish I heard when I was at like my low, it would be this quote.
yeah,
Like because everyone hits like that significant low in your life and like that rock bottom, and this is what they need to hear. Because like
Yeah.
I know someone right now personally who's like seems to be at their low, and just I told him this
send
quote,
send
and
that
it's
send
like-
that video, bro. Just send the quote.
I
to
told
me.
him. I already
Yeah?
told him. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fucking crazy dude. Like
So-
just like because this is exactly what I needed to hear when I was
Right.
at that.
And you know what's crazy too? Knowing this quote, when you will be at the place where you feel low, and you remember this quote, it's also gonna apply to you. So whether you hear it when you're in a positive place or not, it's still gonna come in
It
handy.
prepares you for when that low
Prepares you
comes
for it,
in.
yeah.
Like we went over this in the Brandon's episode, Life with Journeys like this.
Right.
Whenever these retracements, these lows come through, you got to prepare for them.
The market.
Volatility.
Volatility. Shout out goes to Ozzy Espinosa on YouTube. Great video. Learned a lot of knowledge.
Thank you, Ozzy.
Yeah, thank you, Ozzy.
Yeah.
Does anyone know who that is?
No.
I don't, but Ozzy,
Okay.
what do you
That's
want
a
us to
tough
talk about in the next episode? For you personally, we'll give you whatever you want, or to anyone else. Matter of fact,
Yeah.
whatever you want to hear us talk about.
Free knowledge. Free
knowledge.
knowledge.
Because I mean, what we try to do with these what we always pretty much do with these episodes. Not always, that's a lie, but we really try to prepare. Like you guys got here at 6:00, and we're finishing up this video at 9:30 too.
Yeah.
So we really try to prepare this shit for you guys. Even if we may not be knowledgeable for it, we can always plan it in advance. So whatever you guys want to hear us talk about.
Yeah.
Drop it in.
Well said.
Yeah, one more thing I wanted to add to that quote is, I feel like this is the type of quote where you also won't be afraid of being in a dark place, because you know that it's not you being buried, but you being planted. So
Yeah, that's what like the whole idea. Of
you're not
preparing
afraid
for
of going towards a failure or being in a dark place.
it. Perspective shift.
Yeah.
Straight.
Молодец.
Молодец, everybody.
Давай, давай.
Молодец, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, with
Alright,
that
well,
being said,
Think big,
grow big.
Peace.